General Ibrahim Babangida, in his autobiography, raises many issues. The most prominent is the annulment of the June 12, 1993, presidential election and the January 1966 coup. We will give you the highlight from his book concerning the coup. In his autobiography, A Journey in Service, General Ibrahim Babangida addresses the common perception of the January 1966 coup in Nigeria as an Igbo coup. He refutes this characterization, stating that the coup was not driven by ethnic motives but aimed at restructuring Nigeria. Babangida highlights that Major Kaduna Ziogbo, the coup's leader, though ethnically Igbo, was culturally aligned with northern Nigeria, being born and raised in Kaduna and fluent in Hausa. He emphasizes that the primary objective of the coup was to release Chief Obafemi Awolowo from prison and install him as Nigeria's leader, which contradicts the notion that the coup intended to favor the Igbo ethnic group. Watch videos also relating to the defense of the coup. Do you think the perception that the coup was an Igbo coup resulted in marginalization against the Southeasterners? Just like many people say, are Southeasterners being marginalized? What about Second Niger Bridge? Was that not enough to reassure certain people? Could it be the continuous detention of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu? Could it be distributions of federal projects? What about the Southeast Development Commission? Are they not up and running? Is it the appointments of military and defense chiefs, heads of parastatals, or ministers? Please comment and subscribe to our channel. God bless you.
They are very, very corrupt. There is a breach of judicial oath. They have violated the judicial oath. They have shown bias according to Supreme Court. They are biased against them. Supreme Court said so. And that is why what is happening in the judgments and rulings concerning me has been happening. So, disobedience to superior court orders. Supreme Court said you are biased. You are against this man. You should not have revoked his bail. Nigeria went to Kenya and kidnapped him. These things are in the public domain. Why, therefore, are they insisting on trying me? A court order was entered. In that very court order, it was said very clearly and succinctly that she is no more. No. That she is no more going to try me. Why are they insisting? Why are they insisting? I ask you. Because they have no case against me.
TV Africa. We're now continuing our conversation and debate over the Eastern Rail Line and the narrow gauge versus the standard gauge. And we're now being joined by the Presidential Senior Special Assistant on Public Affairs, Ajuru Ibilali. Good morning and thanks for joining us.
Good morning to you, my dear sister and brother. Thank you for having me.
We just had a conversation with a representative of the Nigerian Institution of Civil Engineers, and he explained the concerns of the engineering body in Nigeria as to why the government would pick a narrow gauge over the standard gauge. He mentioned a lot of factors, and I wanted to start with the marginalization of the East that he mentioned. According to him, the narrow gauge has been phased out in many parts of the world. He says it's outdated and that there will be issues with interconnectivity, being able to move from the narrow gauge to the standard gauge. There will be a lot of challenges with that. He also mentioned that if the standard gauge has been, what has been in use in other parts of the country, why the narrow gauge for the Eastern Rail Line? And he's asking, would there be any marginalization here? Or letting the government know that that could be how it's being perceived. How do you react to that?
19th of January 2025, when we debated this bill during the second reading, I raised an observation that there was an omission that I considered grave in that bill. And that omission was on non-provision of any sum of money for the construction of standard gauge rail from Port Harcourt from south-south through southeast, north-central, northwest, and northeast. Northeast. I said northwest there because of Karanchan. He's there. He's northwest. So I said that corridor has no functional railway system and none has been constructed there. It's been abandoned. But I was hoping that that budget, this bill, will incorporate the need to build that railway. Also, drawing from the fact that on the 23rd of November 2023, I sponsored a motion here, co-sponsored by 35 senators from this corridor, on the need to construct standard gauge rail from Port Harcourt through Aba, Makurdi to Maiduguri, and no provision was made. You recall that you were presiding on that date, and you told me that until the breakdown comes out, that I may not be sure that that provision was not made. We waited, the breakdown came out, and that rail line has zero allocation, zero, no money for that railway line. We took it up at the committee level. Senator Lero will bear me witness. The minister could not give any satisfactory answer. Now, the president had made an additional appropriation request for 4.5 trillion itemizing projects that will be built with the fund, particularly the transportation infrastructure provision of 700 billion for roads, 300 billion, 400 billion for light rail network development in urban centers, only urban centers. That rail line was also omitted again, out of the 4.5 trillion. I said that those people who are using this rail line from Port Harcourt to Maiduguri have been abandoned again. And with this large provision in this budget, from 49 trillion to 54 trillion naira now, and not even a dime was put on that railway line. That is not acceptable to our people. So I'm standing again to say that even though we are now at the point of passing this budget, that the Senate should take appropriate note of this.
Thank you.
And you have to
have 1 minute remaining.
Not only thank you, SP, please. It's not only thank you. You have to intervene. You have to intervene. The presidency has opportunity for supplementary appropriation. Anytime he brings a request here, this Senate will consider it. So that Eastern Rail Line needs to be accommodated in this program. Yes, for the good of this country and good of all.
Thank you. This matter
that Igbos are being marginalized.
Of course, Igbos are being marginalized.
Okay.
Let me tell you something.
Wait, you have answered my question. Now, one of your witnesses said Igbos are everywhere in this country and doing everything. They are so friendly and they are involved in every trade and business in every nook and corner of this country.
Is that how you appreciate?
Answer the question.
Is that how you applies marginalization?
Answer the question.
Every individual. Let me tell you what is wrong with this country.
Sorry, my lord.
Every individual.
My lord, I want you to answer my
struggles
question.
on his own. Every individual. So Igbos being everywhere shows that Igbos are the best Nigerians. They are the best Nigerians. They are everywhere. They are true Nigerians.
You should have waited for my question.
No, but I must preempt even your question. You see, Igbos, if you are talking about marginalization, it isn't in terms of Igbos individually working as individuals.
In what context is the marginalization?
Exactly. For instance, the question of appointments, the question of things that belong to us in general, in fact, even the question of depriving Igbos of their rights. This is marginalization.
Now, you said in the Ohaneze petition that Igbos are only one out of 400 ethnic groups in this country. You agree?
Could you please restrict yourself to the statements I made?
You are supposed to answer my questions. If you don't know, say you don't know.
Uche Chukwuemeka has answered that kind of question. I am dealing with January coup, and that Ohaneze has partitioned everything. My compartment is January coup 66.
My friend, you are here as the witness of the commission, and it is my right to ask you questions, and you have an obligation to answer them. If you don't know how to answer, say you don't know.
The truth is that you say that I falsified history. I want to know where in my statement it is in your letter. I want to know where in my statement
I
I
said it is
falsified
in the record of Ohaneze, and you are their witness. And you agree with me that Ohaneze are complaining of marginalization.
Of course.
Now, do you agree with what Ohaneze said?
I agree that Ohaneze is right in saying that Igbos are marginalized.
And they are also right in saying that there are over 400 ethnic groups in Nigeria.
There are too many, even more than 400 if you like.
And you also agree with what they said, that the Igbos constitute about 16% of the population of this country.
I would have said actually 25%.
Okay. Now, do you have any statistics to show that the Igbos in appointments do not have up to 25% in the federal service? Do you have any statistics?
My
If
Lord,
you don't have, say you don't
let
have.
me answer it. Don't rush me. How can you have statistics when we don't have true census figures in Nigeria?
I'm not talking
How
about.
can you are talking about statistics. Let us have census figures first.
Because we don't have census figures, then we don't have statistics.
Then you are
of
imagining
appointments in
A
federal.
lot of people are dreaming dreams in this country. Some people put the population of this Nigeria at 120 million. Some said 100. Some said 100. When are we going to have our figures? True figures.
Please answer my question. We're talking about appointments. You said you are being marginalized in appointments. Do you have any statistics to show that you do not have up to 25%?
Ohanese can supply that, and I believe that Ohanese has supplied that.
They have not supplied it.
Well, you go to Ohanese to supply it. Let me go on what I know.
Now, military regimes, just like the one you wanted to bring in, come on their own. And when they rule as military regimes.
Sometimes, not all the time.
Not all the time.
If you like, I name your military regimes that use civilians to get on with rulership or governance.
Just like civilians use you in 66. Or there's never any answers to my questions, please. Now, you gave consideration to the fact that Okpara was expecting a guest.
Not expecting, he had a guess.
Yes, he had a guest. Listen now, listen.
He was arrested.
Listen to the question. Now, in some of the books written by some of your coup plotters, you had to wait for Sir Ahmad Bello to return from Lesser Hajj to execute the coup.
I wrote that in my book.
Yes, why did you do that? If the intention was not to deliberately kill him.
It is the truth. If you did not wait for him to return, he might bring in troops from abroad, particularly from Saudi Arabia or from any of the Islamic countries.
Why didn't you wait for Dr. Azikwe to come back?
I haven't even thought about Azikiwe because, you see, he was so innocuous that, in fact, as far as we were concerned, he was not endangering anybody.
He was not because he's Igbo?
No, not at all.
Why?
There were others who were not Igbos, who were not endangering anyone. What about Awolowo? Was he killed?
Now listen, recently, you know Chief Ajuluchukwu?
I know Chief Ajuluchukwu is my brother.
Yes.
Yes.
He recently gave an interview.
Yes.
And he said Dr. Azikwe was aware of the coup and that was why he left the country. Are you aware of that? Simple.
Say that again, please.
That Dr. Azikwe was aware of the planned coup and that was why he ran out of the country.
If Ajuluchukwu said that,
it's not the issue. Whether you
if
two are aware,
said,
that's the question.
no. You don't put words into anybody's mouth. If Ajuluchukwu said that, he is entitled to his own views altogether.
I want to hear your own view. I want to hear your own view.
But I would be surprised, in fact shocked, if Ajuluchukwu ever said that. But
did.
all this, I said I would be shocked because you people are prone to, putting words into people's mouths. Now, the thing is this. With regard to Zeke knowing or not knowing, we went to Zeke. If you recall that Nzobo talked to Sakashim Ibrahim, he said his people like Azik were and Opara and others were looking for. If you recall, and it's written down in black and white in your own book.
That is not the question. The question is simple. Are you aware that Zeke knew about the coup and that was why...
How could I know that Zeke knew about the coup? I was at Kaduna. I was resident at Kaduna.
How did you know that they killed Tafa Balewa in Lagos?
Say again.
How did you know they killed and they could not arrest Iran?
From the radio.
Why didn't you hear this from the radio? You are part and parcel of the coup plotters. You know all those who sponsored you and you know those who dealt with.
My lord, no coup plotter. My lord, no coup plotter is ubiquitous. It's not everywhere.
You were aware that during the period you were planning the coup, there was Commonwealth Conference held on in Lagos.
Of course, I know. And even when it came to a close.
And yet you killed Tafawa Balewa, you killed Brigadier Maimalari.
He wasn't killed on the day of the Commonwealth Conference.
You waited for them to go first.
They were not killed on the day of the Commonwealth Conference. Okay. Let me put this to you, that Opara would have been killed
Listen,
if
you have no right to put anything to me, please.
It will take another 4 years before you start putting it to him.
Yes.
You're going to go
my
to
lord, I
law
should
school
have
first.
read law. All right, let me expatiate.
I don't want to hear it. You are aware that Brigadier Maimalari was killed on his party's wedding day, the day he was organizing a party for his wedding.
I heard he was killed and I wept.
Very good.
Because this is where I said everybody didn't agree about killing anybody. They had disagreements. So people were allowed to use their initiative. What you see on the ground is what matters. I wept because he was my mentor. He was. He was captain when I was an officer cadet.
Now, were you told why Sir Abubakar Tafawa Balewa was killed, was murdered, and his body thrown in the bush?
I was even told that he wasn't killed. I don't know. What about you are talking about killing?
Yes, Sir Abubakar Tafawa Balewa, you were told...
I know that when some people went to Abeokuta to get armored vehicle, and they couldn't, they came back and found Hiroshi's troops all over the place and ran away. Those who had the prime minister and dumped him in a bush. How they dumped him in a bush, I wasn't told.
No, as one of the coup plotters, did you hear the reason why he was killed?
If you read my book, you see it was zoned. I was in the north. I was at Kaduna.
Please answer my question. Did you hear why he was killed?
I wasn't told.
Was there any justification given for killing him or for murdering him?
Are you saying by hindsight or then?
By the coup plotters.
Well, you see, people were being killed everywhere, particularly in the West. And so, if I may sound charitable, well, not uncharitable, if he was party to other killings, then if he was killed, it's one of those things.
Now, since you are based in the north,
yes,
you must have heard that immediately after Sardana was killed, or maybe a few weeks after, there was this picture being circulated in markets and streets of Nzebu and Samad Bello, which some northerners regarded as very provocative.
I am happy you mentioned this.
Yes.
I was thrown into Kirikiri. Taken down.
When?
From in fact, within the first week of the coup, I was thrown into Kirikiri with others. Now, I am given to understand much later that it was because Nelson Atta Publishing Drum did something in respect of publicizing Sir Ahmad Bello. All right? No sane person would like that.
Thank you very much.
But why is it that the same Nelson Atta, during the war, you took him to work for you? You didn't kill him, but you killed the women in the marketplace. Why did you do that?
My friend, listen. I'm happy that you agreed that when Nelson Mandela published it, people naturally overreacted.
Of course.
Thank you very much. That's all for you.
Why did you not kill Nelson Atta?
That's all right from me. Thank you.
Why did you not kill Nelson Atta?
10th of January 1966. Whether you are in Lagos, in Enugu, or in Kaduna.
My Lord, I have made exhaustive statement on this issue.
This is cross-examination. I can't make a statement. You don't know what the question they will ask you. Answer his questions. That's one by one.
All right. I was at Kaduna.
And you are a party to the preparation and execution of the attempted coup of January 15th, 1966.
I was a party to the failed coup of January 1966.
Yes. Your final plan towards the coup was discussed and agreed upon during your exercise at Kachia.
There is no truth on that at all.
Okay.
I did not go to Kachia for any exercise to start with.
Very good.
I attended a battle group course at Abeokuta.
No, you have answered the question. In Kaduna, the operation or the attempted coup was led by Major Chukuma Nzebu.
Correct.
Yes. After the Premier of Northern Nigeria, late Sir Ahmad Bello, was murdered along with his wife, and the governor of Northern Nigeria was arrested, Chukuma made a broadcast suspending the government of Northern Nigeria.
That is correct.
He also suspended the legislature of Northern Nigeria.
That is absolutely correct.
In Ibadan, one Captain Unwobusi led the operation where the Premier, Shiba Kintola, was killed.
No, that is correct.
But the government of Western Nigeria was not suspended. If you know, if you don't know, say you don't know.
It is not a question of not knowing or knowing. I know it was not
Suspended, very good.
because of...
No, that's all right, that's all right, that's all right. Now, at the federal level, the President, Dr. Nnamdi Azikiwe, was out of the country. The Prime Minister, late Sir Abubakar Tafawa Balewa, and the Honorable Minister of Finance were murdered or were killed, and the federal government was not suspended.
At the federal level?
Yes.
Ironsi aborted the coup. So, and Ironsi took over, isn't it?
He aborted the coup.
He aborted the coup of January 66.
Yes, at the time those who organized the coup suspended the government of Northern Nigeria, the federal government was not suspended.
The coup took place on the 14th, 15th night.
Yes.
By the following day, Nzogu made a broadcast.
When did
By the following day, Ironsi had aborted the coup in Lagos.
Are you aware of the fact that Major General Ironsi announced that the power was handed over to him by the remaining members of the Council of Ministers through Dr. Orizu? Are you aware?
My lord, Ironsi was not part of us.
I didn't say he was part of you.
Ironsi was a reactionary.
Listen to the question.
What he said or what he did was his business.
It is also the business of this commission. It is our business. If you know, please answer you know. Were you aware that Ironsi announced that the remaining members of the Council of Ministers through Dr. Orizu,
I heard it over the radio.
very good, handed over power to him to restore
I heard it over the radio.
Thank you very much. It was because Major General Ironsi aborted the coup and declared the organizers of that coup as mutineers. That was why you people were arrested.
And detained, yes.
Yes. You were detained, but you were never tried.
You are absolutely correct.
Yes. Now, it is also correct that 4 senior commissioned and competent military officers in Lagos, Brigadier Mamalari, Colonel Kur Mohammed, Lieutenant Colonel Pam, and Lieutenant Colonel Germa, were killed during that coup.
You are very correct. But let me add.
No, I don't want you
I
to
must
add.
add
I don't want you to add, please.
But I must add.
You answer my question.
My
please.
lord, this is an occasion for providing information.
You had your
I
time.
must add.
You had your time. This is my time, please.
I must add to clarify what you are saying.
My lord, let him
I
answer my
must give
question.
you information. You talked about our not being.
Hold it, please. Yes. Keep it cool.
All
I
right.
thought we were on a fine facting crusade.
Exactly. I must
So
add.
can you prevent him adding to the fact that will help us? But if it's a catechism, yes and no.
Yes.
Yes, it's a straightforward question. I don't know what he wants to add, my lord.
Well, under the rules of examination and cross-examination, you let a witness answer your question.
And he answered my question.
The way
I
you
have
like.
not finished. I must add that we were not tried. But even when the one took over after the overthrow of Ironsi, he did not try us.
If that is all
He
you
did
add.
not try us.
If that is all
Our
you
leader,
add.
he
Answer questions. Listen. He
Yes, sir.
hasn't asked another question.
Yes, sir.
I don't know what you're answering. You listen to his questions.
Now, you answered questions earlier that there was a coup in Kaduna where the political leaders were killed. There was a coup in Lagos where the Prime Minister and Minister of Finance were killed, and there was coup in Ibadan. There was no coup in Enugu, no attempted coup in Enugu.
There was.
Listen now. There was no takeover of government or murder or assassination of anybody in Enugu and Midwest.
And this I explained in my book, Nigeria's 5 Majors.
Thank you very much. Now, you did not make any attempt to arrest Ironsi.
an attempt was made. In fact, I'm told that it was, if I may say this right now, and that it was Colonel Pang who phoned him and alerted him and he fled.
You did not make any attempt to arrest Ojukwu in Kano.
An attempt, you haven't read my book, you should have read my book.
I'm not interested in your book. I want to know. I want
an
the
attempt
facts.
was made to arrest him. An attempt was made to call people in Kano. And Ironsi, I'm sorry, I'm awfully sorry about talking about Ironsi. Ojukwu arrested our man. And it's in my book, and you know it. You have a copy of that there.
In Kaduna, you also killed Brigadier Ademalokun and Colonel Shodende, who are the only two senior Yoruba officers there.
Brigadier Ademalegu was killed. There is no doubt in that.
What of Colonel Shodende?
Shodende was killed. It's all in my book. I mean, you should read it.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
I want to hear what you will say on oath here, not in your book.
All right.
Okay.
Make this, my lord. I'm sorry. There is evidence already before this commission about the coup. My learned friend has been going on about who and who were killed. Exhibit 8 is a book written by him where, in 1981, where he listed all these things he's asking him now.
Yes.
The issue here, if there are any untrue statements in the book, which is in evidence, he wants to clarify as affecting the ACF. Let him put it to him, but to continue to rehearse the evidence given before, I think
appears asking too many questions. But in cross-examination and examination in chief and re-examination, there's this thing called notorious facts. Is that correct?
My lord, it depends.
Many books have been written. All these things are there.
My lord,
You read all of them.
he is the only surviving person who participated in the coup.
Absolutely wrong.
Was he in Kaduna? All right, ask.
Yes.
If there's something like notorious fact, you can address us on them. But if they're notorious.
My lord,
My lord, he is wrong. I'm not the only one surviving.
Nobody asked you a question yet.
you are one of the
If you want to
survivors.
go on.
Now, when you are, from the records, we saw that when you are being cross-examined by the council to the commission in Enugu, you said it was the North that waged war on Biafra.
The North, in fact, the first division from the North descended on Biafra from Nsukka.
Is that the first division of Northern Nigerian Army?
Of course, it is not first division of Northern Nigerian Army, but it was commanded by the Northern troops, the Northern officers and men.
And that's your basis of saying it was the North that waged war on Biafra.
I said actually it was Nigeria that waged war, not Biafra waging war on Nigeria.
So you said the North in your evidence.
It must be lipsus linguae.
Thank you very much. Now, you said it was in your book and in your evidence that the coup at 1966 January was long overdue.
That was what I felt. That was my opinion.
Do you still feel that a military coup is the best solution to political problems of countries such as Nigeria? Now, as you are there now on oath,
The situation in 1966 cannot by any means be equated to the situation now in Nigeria.
now do you agree? Now, what I'm saying is, maybe you don't understand my question.
I do understand your question. In 1966, how I felt then might not necessarily be how I feel now.
Okay. Do you still believe that military as an alternative to political government or to democratic government is the best solution?
Right now that I am an old man, I feel otherwise.
Okay. And you know that that first attempt you made was the beginning of the military in cashing into democratic rule in
You're
Nigeria.
very right. It is not the handover or button changing that you keep having
Okay.
after that.
Okay. Now, the Ohanese petition and your evidence said there was to be a planned jihad on January 17. It came from your evidence.
I said it's in my book. which was published in 1981.
Listen to my question, please.
Yes, I said so.
Now, immediately after talking about the jihad, they said the coupists.
There is nothing called
Listen now, those who planned the coup,
the coup plotters. No?
yes, the coup plotters, it doesn't matter. The coup plotters were to install Chief Awolowo as the president.
That's what they plan to do.
Which of them? Those who planned the jihad or your own? Those who
You see,
planned
you talk about planning the jihad. Those of us concerned with the coup of January 66 did not plan any jihad.
Yes.
In fact, they carried the coup, they moved fast to preempt jihad. That's what I said.
Listen,
And
no,
it's so well recorded.
no, it's not question of well recorded. You see, you planned a coup.
Beautiful.
The Ohanese petition alleged that that coup was to prevent a jihad on the 17th.
Beautiful.
The following sentence in their petition says, those coup plotters wanted to install Chief Awolowo as the president of Nigeria. Something is amiss somewhere. Is it your group that wanted to install Chief Awolowo or the jihadists? That's all I want you to clear to the
The
commission.
book I tendered here is very specific on it. Awolowo was to come and be the head of government.
That's your arrangement.
Our own, yes.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
Okay. Now you said elsewhere that failure to execute successfully the coup in Enugu was what led to the civil war.
You see, again, you haven't read my book. Or you didn't even hear what I said.
Listen, I read your evidence before the commission in Enugu.
Then that's-
Certified true copy from the
That's not what I said. Let me tell you exactly what I said.
What did you say?
You did a coup in July 1966. There were two coups in Nigeria.
There was a coup. I didn't
Just
do
a
it.
minute. Let me tell you what I said.
Okay.
I said that the failure of the second coup, that is the July coup, failure of the July coup to succeed at Enugu was the one that caused the civil war. It is not the first coup.
I didn't say the first coup was in July.
I didn't take part in July coup. You did.
Listen, you said failure of the coup in Enugu was what led to the civil war. Is that it?
Failure of the July coup to succeed at Enugu was the one that led to the civil war.
How? If you can explain.
Beautiful. Let me explain. Because the coup failed, Ojukwu, who was the governor of Eastern region at that time, was neither killed nor arrested. Ojukwu started actually contesting the legality of the ones taking over power. And it is this contestation of the legality that brought about the sharp division between the East and Lagos. All right? And it is this that led to Aburi. It is this that led to the Civil War. In fact, it is the one that was responsible. And in fact, I place the blame on the doorstep of those who did the coup of July 1966. That's what I said.
So those who planned the coup of July 1966 and Colonel Ojukwu were responsible for the civil war. Is that what you're saying?
You can put it after your fashion. What I know is that had they succeeded, you see, you were blaming January coup for not taking place at Enugu. And yet you didn't blame the July coup for not succeeding at Enugu.
The difference is that the January coup failed. The July coup did not fail. And this is a court of law. This is not a military barrack, please. Now, what you said in the book is that people may understand that coup as an Igbo coup because over 90% of those planning the coup were Igbos. Is that correct?
That is not what I said.
What did you say?
What I said that people might take this to be an Igbo coup. What I didn't say 90% was not there.
Why did you say so?
There was no 90%.
Why did you say people
Good.
might?
I asked Onwatoegu who and who are in this. He named certain people. Although he named Ademoega too, I felt that the Nigerian public, being tribalistic, would deem this as an Igbo coup. I said so. But that is what is called value judgment.
Okay.
In other words, not taking into consideration the facts. Now, if you read that thing down, you would have seen where he said, oh, but we are releasing Awolowo. Do you know what I said?
In other words, the Yorubas are using us. You failed to read that one. You read about the thing being an Igbo coup.
I'm interested in the issue raised by Ohaneze in your petition, that it was wrong for anybody to assume it was an Igbo coup.
It is wrong till tomorrow for anybody to assume that is an Igbo coup.
When
That person would have committed what is called value judgment, a judgment not based on facts. That was what I meant.
When you killed all the northern and Yoruba political and military leaders, and you didn't kill your own?
What about Colonel Unegwe? And by the way, let me also explain. Colonel Unegwe was killed in Lagos.
Why?
Not because he did not hand over any key. I'm happy that IBM Haruna, a soldier, is here. He knows that no quartermaster general holds a key to anything armory.
Why was he killed?
He knows he was killed. It's in my book, which I tendered. He was killed because he was accused of making money from his job. In other words, he was a quartermaster general. He was making money from his job. So he was enriching himself. That was why he was killed.
So he was not.
So I want to correct this mistake.
So he was not a victim of that attempted coup.
He was killed.
No, listen. Brigadier Mamalari, Kur Muhammad and the rest were killed as part of the coup. This one was killed because he was making money. So he was not killed as part of the execution of that coup. Is that what you're saying?
My lord, there were various reasons why the coup took place.
Okay.
There were various, in fact, Hydra-headed reasons why the coup took place. Some people enriched themselves and they were killed. Some people were involved in the killings in the West and the TV area and they were killed. Some people did a lot of other unsavory things. By the way, they talk about killing, and I'm repeating what I said at Enugu. It was never decided that anybody should be killed.
Now, why was
people disagreed on what should happen? I don't know how many coups you've taken part in, but it is never decided this man must be killed, that person will be killed, but you depend on what you see on the ground.
So if there was opportunity to kill, we kill. Or what do you mean by you depend on what you see on the ground?
These are soldiers, you know. For instance, if you are fired at, you fire back. All right? It's as simple as that. And I gave an example of somebody who wasn't killed.
Do you know why Sardona was killed along with his wife?
Do you know it's in the book?
Simple.
Why must I?
I told you we need your evidence here.
The commission here has read my book. If they have not read my book,
Nigerians
they probably are reading it now.
Nigerians want to hear what you will say of the reason behind killing Sardona and his wife.
You talk about killing again. I was not the one who went to the house. Even though, I must tell you this, I take full responsibility for the coup of January 66 because it was a collective responsibility.
Very good. Okay, are you aware of the reason from your coup plotters why Sardona was murdered with his wife?
If you don't know the reason by now, then I'm afraid you should go and find out.
My lord,
it's all in my book.
My lord, the witness should be told that he's supposed to answer
my question. You are whipping up emotions. I don't want to get involved in that.
Answer simple question simply. It will make us progress. And then one counsel is asking, you have no right to retort.
All right, sir.
Thank you, my lord.
Sorry, my lord.
Now you said there were all those reasons why they killed. Why was, if you know, Sardona killed along with his wife?
Nzogu attacked Sardona's residence. Nzogu, if you read the script, was attacked himself.
And that was why they had to kill him.
Nzogu returned fire. Nzogu, if he were alive but he's dead, would have told you exactly why he did what he did. What we wanted to do was to overthrow the government of Nigeria. To overthrow the government and stop madness.
And overthrowing the government means suspending the government of northern Nigeria, leaving the government of western Nigeria,
you see,
and then deliberately refusing to arrest Ironsi.
Let me...
And the first one was never an Igbo coup.
It was not an Igbo coup?
Not a Nigerian.
Can you explain?
Man, the
author of this book?
Yes. Very, very intellectual.
It was not an Igbo coup.
It wasn't an Igbo coup. It was a coup of genuine Nigerians who were worried about Nigeria. Yes, they were young, generational. It was the generation that brought them together. It was their willingness to risk their lives to have a better Nigeria that brought them together. It wasn't to put an Igbo man or create an Igbo empire. No. Mr. Igbo himself is Midwest Igbo. In normal parlance, he is not an original Igbo. So he wasn't doing all of that.
Ifajuna was Igbo.
Yeah, was Igbo.
Onwatuegu Igbo.
Yes.
Most of the officers were Igbo officers.
What joined them together was intellectual revolt. We wanted better Nigeria. Most of them were educated, they were university graduates.
Most of the army officers, senior army officers killed were from the north. The premier of the western region was killed. The premier of the northern region was killed. Michael Okwara was not killed.
That was a failure of individual operators.
Tell me more.
From in planning the coup, they broke Nigeria to territories, and each person had roles they had to play. Ezegu was in charge of the north. When he moved, he sought even the support of Ojukwu, who never gave him support.
But Ojukwu knew about the coup.
Not before. He was not party to the planning of the coup, from everything I've read. But of course, for you to take over government, don't forget that he was just a trainee officer, and he was using trainees. And Ojukwu was the commander, the Kano. So he needed him. He reached out to him and he didn't give him support.